Technology is so fun, especially when it does not work. So here we go. Take two. When these dads meet world, watching Boy Meets World. We grew up on the show, now we have kids. And host a podcast. We watch each episode and then share our thoughts and grades. When these dads meet world.
They want you to take the roles.
Yes, we do want you to take those rolls. They are delicious and they taste so good. Welcome back to Dad's Meet World. We're in the month of December and hope you're enjoying your Christmas season. Steve, the skeleton behind me, is enjoying his December.
I do see a Christmas hat. Very nice.
Yes, it's lit up. He is enjoying it. He's very festive. Tyler, how is your December treating you?
Oh, December, the beginning of December is always a thing because I do a thing called go take my gun into the woods, get up super early, sit there, and watch as a creature that doesn't actually have a real brain cell outsmart and outwit me and my family. So I'm always exhausted at the beginning of December, no matter what I do. It's been good. I've actually seen a lot of deer this year, so it's been kind of nice. But yeah, took the wife out on a date on Friday night, so that was really enjoyable. Got to go see the new Hunger Games movie. If you're a Hunger Games fan, I do recommend it. If you're not a Hunger Games fan, if you like a story about a twisted soul and they happen to be teenagers, it might be up your alley. So, dark, twisted story for sure. Mm-hmm. So, good times all around. I don't really have too much complaints. And you know what, Brett? Fun fact: at least 3/3 of our shopping, 3/4. That's what I'm looking at. 3/4 of our Christmas shopping is already accomplished. So,
all right. Well, you know what that deserves.
It wasn't coming up. What's up with you, Brett? What's new?
Oh, let's see. Oh, we're through all the busy stuff. Plays over. Oh, we're getting ready for winter one acts. Both Abby and Toby have been cast, so we're gonna have those. We've got the winter band concerts coming up in 2 days, and then the All City band concert that's coming up after that sometime. So winter is busy. December's busy for us in a different way. I don't take a gun out in the middle of the woods to get exhausted. I just get exhausted a little bit at a time.
Fair.
Took the wife on a little impromptu date tonight. More so Christmas shopping, but no movie for us. But we did watch an episode of Community while we ate some Chick-fil-A in the car in between stores, so that was enjoyable.
What episode you watch?
Abed's Uncontrollable Christmas.
Oh, that's a good classic.
Hands down, one of the best Christmas episodes of a sitcom you'll see in a long time.
I agree completely. As much as I love Boy Meets World, Community has better Christmas episodes. There's no way around
it's
it.
December 10th. They do. Maybe we should do a bonus episode and talk about that one. Who knows?
We should. Well, I was thinking about because Netflix is really pushing that family switch, where it's like Freaky Friday, except a family like dad and son switch, mom and daughter switch. And I'm like, there's a real creepy element to this movie that I don't want to think about. But I was thinking, like, what is, because in the woods, all I have time is to think about these type of things. What is a good like switch body movies or TV show episodes? And I was thinking about how the Community episode in the 4th season, where Abed and Troy quote unquote switch places, but then also Dean and Jeff switch
Switch
places.
places.
So then we just end up having two Jeffs in an episode, and you're just so much good, funny humor in that.
There is.
But also like Troy and Abed being young and also being good friends and being willing to support each other however
Oh,
they need
yes.
each other.
So much great stuff there.
Yeah.
Well, let's say we dive into our Boy Meets World episode for this week.
Let's get to part two of
Our
the
first
anchor.
unofficial two-parter.
Yeah, the Dana slash news internship.
Yes. Well, good looking people, we're going to get into the 16th episode of season 3 this week, Stormy Weather. Now, Eric's devotion to the TV station is affecting his grades and endangering his chances of graduating. Meanwhile, things start to heat up between Jonathan and Dana's mom, Susan, to Sean and Dana's horror.
We're
This
gonna be
episode
sisters.
This episode was written by Jeff Manel. This is one of his 53 credited episodes, directed by Jeff McCracken. Originally aired February 9th, 1996, and currently enjoys an IMDb rating of 8.2. And it's time for everyone's favorite TV show.
Vast emotional damage.
I said TV show, but it's game show. Vast Emotional Damage, in which Tyler attempts to guess just the most random number imaginable. How many million people tuned in the first time this show aired? Now, our previous episode had a viewership of 18.6 million viewers for that first week in February. Tyler,
Million or
how many?
billion?
What's that?
Million or billion? You said billion.
Did I say billion? I meant million if I said billion. Yes, 18.6 million was the viewership of the of episode 15. The Heart is a Lonely Hunter. Tyler, how many million with an M viewers do you think Stormy Weather got?
You know what, Brett? I'm going to go with my heart this time, not my brain, and I'm going to go with 20 million.
20 million. You lost the showcase. We had a drop this week down to 16.4 million.
That is a crime. This is a solid episode. This is why I don't like the Nielsen ratings, is because an episode that is solid, even though people didn't get to watch it because of who knows what else is going on in their lives, they go, well, this was a good episode. The viewership was down this week. What can we do to get it up this week? Good Lord.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is, or it was what it was.
Do you know what the highest rated segment of a episode of a wrestling show ever was, Brett? Do you?
What's that?
It was a moment with The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and a guy named Mick Foley, who we'll see in this show later on, and them going through The Rock's history and bringing random people from his old life in to celebrate him. It's the highest ranking moment in any wrestling show ever, and it's the dumbest thing possible. Yet they keep trying to do these things because it was the highest rated segment ever. And it's like, what is the Nielsen rating really, Brett? What good does it actually do us? Because I'm going to say it, Brett. I'm going to say it. Does no good for us.
Well, I agree. All right. Well, let's dive right in because
All right.
we're going to start off in the Matthew's kitchen, and Eric apparently woke the family up singing at 4:00 in the morning in the shower. Hi ho, because it's off to work. He has to go.
Yes.
And the internship, which was, I'm assuming originally it was just an after school thing, now wants him there before school.
Yeah, I already have a problem with this, Brett, because I was a job coach, and so I know for a fact that there is no way. I mean, I get it's the '90s, I get it, but like today's standard, you could not do this. You could not
Hmm.
ask a high schooler to come in before and after school. It's one or the other. It's not both.
Yeah.
And
No.
so it bothers me of like, well, this is just for high schoolers. It's like, okay, but you have him working all sorts of hours. He's on call. Like he should be getting paid for this work.
Yeah,
Like it's
there's
one
not
thing,
really we don't know one way or the other if he's a paid intern, an unpaid intern. He makes references to being given the job at one point, so we kind of assume there's some payment being taken place here, but because he doesn't have any other job.
right? Oh, I don't know. There's a chance there's pay, but if it's pay, then it's even more alarming because he should not be allowed to clock in as he is and also be
Hmm.
missing school on top of it too. So
Yep.
I have way more questions than there is answers. That's for sure.
Same here. Yeah, I also am curious who actually is in charge of this internship. Is he reporting to the station manager? Is it the news director? I mean, I'm curious because we aren't ever given those details either. Is
I mean,
Yeah.
it feels like it's just the manager because like he's going to him for everything. Like it's almost
Hmm.
like he's his personal assistant.
Yep. Yeah,
So
he's dropping the overnight ratings on his desk. He's taking his dog for a
a neuter.
neutering. Yeah. But we also find some fun facts behind the scenes of this news station that their sportscaster is also a clown for children's programming who taught Corey about what was it, tying his shoes,
Potty training.
potty training. That's what it was.
Yes.
Morgan's not a fan of this clown.
No. But I mean, this is local
Yep,
news, so it's
it's a
the
step
local
above
station.
cable
Like,
access, and you got to wear a few different hats if you're going to earn enough to live on.
mhm. Well, this is actually a complaint I had with Sarah because we were rewatching Full House. And I'm like, how can Danny Tanner afford the lifestyle they have on just a local morning newscast?
Yeah.
Like, it's not even like they're breaking hard news. It's just like puff pieces that they end up doing here and there. Like, I don't understand.
We're talking a couple of hours on camera and maybe a couple of hours of prep time.
Yeah, exactly. But I also like they'll leave like and be like, well, we gotta be, you know, there in like 20 minutes. And it's like there's no way you would show up for a TV or radio show 20 minutes or 5 minutes before you go to air.
No.
Oh well.
Well, Eric's not going to give Corey a ride to school because he's got to go straight to the station. But
Hey, Big Brother's got a big brother, you know.
yeah, Corey can walk, right? No, Corey's he's going to go walk to school. He's going to freeze his butt off and walk through life buttless. No, you're good then.
Yeah, Corey's being a little dramatic.
Just a little bit. Um, but we do also
It's the
find
end of
out
the
that
world.
it's the end of the world. As soon as he opens the door, I will say that is the most snow we have seen in 3 seasons on Boy Meets World
Yes,
during the
it
winter.
looks like a real Pennsylvania winter.
It does.
Thank you.
Yes, it does. That looks like a pretty normal Pennsylvania winter.
Yeah.
We also find out that this is 2 days before Eric's 18th birthday.
Hmm.
Yes. And so we're getting right in there. Eric's birthday is in February, at least at this point in the series. And this internship is the single most important thing that he has ever done in his life, which From seeing what Eric has done over 3 years, I can definitely see that. He has put more effort and more focus and more attention and energy into this internship over this episode, the drive he wanted to get it in last episode, and what we're being told has been going on in the background in this episode, and what we'll see throughout this episode. I don't doubt that statement at all.
Yeah. No, I mean, Eric's problem is exactly as he said. He's lazy. And he has been lazy since the beginning of the show. So if he wants to be taken serious, he needs to not be so lazy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, he shows here that he can, when he puts his mind to it, he can do a whole lot. He just has to be willing to put his mind to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's literally what Feeney tells him the whole time he knows him. Like, if you actually try, when you actually put in an effort and see what will happen, you can succeed.
Yep. Exactly. And so Corey's going to leave for school, but it's the end of the world. And we're out from the teaser. We're going to come back in to our first act. Eric trying to sneak into class as it's letting out, I find is a nice visual gag. He's timed it up pretty well. He wants to sneak in as everyone's out, walk out of class. 2 thumbs up. Great class, Mr. Feeney. But he calls Eric to task for missing out on classes, and he's in danger of not graduating because of the internship.
You hear that from him, though.
Yes. Yeah. There's a nice interaction between him and Mr. Feeney here, where my attention's on school while I'm here. This is all it's on that's going on. Then the beeper goes off. Gotta go. And he's going to pick up this hairpiece for the weekend anchor. Real panda hair. Just a little bit of white right there.
It really bothers me that this news station is willing to contact a high schooler in the middle of school.
Yes, it does.
Like, Eric is being 100% a yes man to everything. Any job he's willing to do, he's willing to take, he's willing to do everything. The problem is that his supervisor, whoever it's supposed to be, should say, you're only here for X amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
You only do jobs you can do while you're here.
Yeah. And sadly, there are a lot of jobs out there that will act like this. Good-looking people that will take advantage of when you're not there. They will try and make you be there, basically. And I mean, in a job like this, when you're not there, you're not there. You're not supposed to be on the clock. You're not supposed to respond. If you're a gopher when you're there. This is a school internship for credit. And I think, honestly, if this is the way that this station is run, Eli's better off for not working for them.
Well, it's an internship at a place that he was fired at, or he quit at. So you got to wonder how much Eli has trust in them.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, they're willing to go and do the news 5 minutes before they had a weather guy.
Well, yeah. But we'll get there. Yeah. So we transition over Sean and Dana studying in a position that wouldn't be conducive to anyone studying.
Yeah, they're studying, all right. Studying each other.
Yes, they're studying each other. Yes. And of course, we get treated to TV making out. And I have it written down here in my notes that it's a good thing John walks in when he does.
Yeah. I mean, just look at their face.
Oh, yes, look at your face. Look at your face. Oh, it looks better when you do it that. Sean is just so unamused during this whole sequence. I mean, Dana tries to take the blame and everything, but the look on Sean's face as he's being made fun of from both ends is just priceless. But Dana's mom arrives to pick her up, and this is the
Yes.
first of our clips that I'll have.
Mom, this is Mr. Turner. This is Old Man Turner.
Yeah, my walker's in the shop.
John. Dana, we should get going. It was nice to meet you, Mr. Turner.
Oh, gosh, call me John.
Call me Susan.
I just may do that.
Okay, let's go. Goodbye, get out. Keep moving. What kind of disgusting display was that?
What? I was just being friendly to your
You
girlfriend.
were all over her.
Oh, I was not. You know, just for safety reasons, if you're ever over there and I need to get a hold of you, what's her number?
1-800, take a cold shower.
I'm not gonna ask her out. Why can't I ask her?
Because she's my girlfriend's mother. And frankly, there's something just sick about this whole situation.
Go on, relax. I'm not gonna call her.
So we've got John and Susan are hitting it off right there. And by the way, we'll give you Susan's Susan McGuire. It's played by Rosalind Allen, or Rosalind Allen. I'm not sure how she likes her first name pronounced. First and only time we'll see her on Boy Meets World. 51 credits on her IMDb resume, including All My Children, Knight Rider, Star Trek The Next Generation, Seinfeld, Naked Gun 33 1/3, Sequest 2032, Home Improvement, Titus, and a whole lot more. They're hitting it off. Her and Old Man Turner.
Yeah, it's weird to me that Dana would refer to Turner as Old Man Turner.
Yeah, even in the 90s, that was outdated. That was not something that you would normally hear. So, yeah. But Sean is very quick to catch on to this, and he feels there's something sick about John and Susan potentially hitting it off. But
It's disgusting.
Yeah, but Susan calls him from the car. I didn't clip it, but the face John makes.
Dear younger viewers, once upon a time when we did not have our cellular phones, people had to have phones in their cars in order to make a call that was not from their home line.
Oh yes.
So
if it wasn't installed in the car,
yeah. Well,
carried
then they
around
didn't
like a suitcase.
You having a cell phone, but you still left it in the car because why would you need to put it in your pocket and take it anywhere?
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be always charging.
Yeah. And since she's got a car phone, I'm going to guess she's got a pretty decent job too.
Yep.
I remember some of those car phones. I remember riding with someone who had one that it was a big deal to make a call from the car. So John's comment about it's Susan, it's Dana's mom from the car. That was a big deal.
Okay, but you can't tell me that Turner's family didn't have car phones before the rest of us had car phones.
Oh, I'm sure they did. But it's been a while since Turner's been home.
True. Very true.
Yeah. But we're going to wind up at the news station now. And we're going to meet Eric's hero, Cal Kilbride, who is played by one of my favorite guest actors on Boy Meets World, John O'Hurley. And this is the first of 2 appearances he'll make. He'll show up again next season on Singled Out. 158 credits on his resume. Shows like Frasier, Baywatch, Living Single, Melrose Place, Mad About You, Smart Guy, The X-Files, Family Guy, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, The Mentalist, Phineas and Ferb, several Scooby-Doo incarnations, American Dad, Archer, SpongeBob SquarePants, NCISLA, various voice acting gigs. But perhaps my personal favorite, many more, by the way, I love him as Jay Peterman from Seinfeld. And I just can't see him without first seeing him as Jay Peterman. And Cal Kilbride is pretty much Jay Peterman.
I mean, this guy kind of always plays like a famous person in the world of whatever sitcom he's in.
I was hoping so much that he was in a Step by Step, but I couldn't. He's never been in it, and I would have loved to have seen him in it, but oh well.
Oh well.
But we get to meet the infamous Cal that inspired Eric. And this is where we get the joke about, or we get to hear about Eric being the gopher for Pat. And we get to hear Eric's backstory about his dream of being a weatherman, watching Cal as a kid, and basically having the power to affect people's everyday lives, what they wear in the morning, what do you do with their day?
Mm-hmm.
And, Eric wants to be a part and impact people's worlds. Not necessarily in an evil way where he wants to control their world, but in a way that he wants to have an impact in the world.
You kind of got the feeling like he wants to be able to just let people know, hey, this is what you should be aware of. You need to know this before you leave today.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Which is very honorable.
Very much so. Yeah. I mean, Eric's a very pure soul.
Mm-hmm.
He wants everyone to know exactly what they need to know. And he's encouraged to go just meet Cal because they all work the same place, but only to approach him from his left. He's weird like that. So we get a nice little visual gag of Eric continually trying to be around on his left. And Cal, no, we're all the same, boy. From me at the top right on down to you. I don't believe in the pecking order. But he wants to get his pants hemmed and takes him off right there in the newsroom, which, aside from the one guy who looked at him oddly, no one else really seemed to notice. So this is clearly not the first time Cal's done this to a gopher.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And he's not even a real celebrity.
No, he's just a local weatherman.
I just kept wondering, Brett, do you think Eric never brings up the whole weatherman thing because he doesn't want to get made fun of by, like, Feeney, or like told you can never do that, so don't try to pursue it?
I think that's a possibility. And I think especially with Feeney, he might feel like that Mr. Feeney would say that's beneath him.
Mm-hmm.
Or not a worthwhile aspiration.
Could be.
So we get a little interstitial here where Eric runs into Eli in the hallway, and Eli is reminding him he needs to get to class, that he's missing too many classes. Recognizes the hairpiece that Eric's picked up as the weekend anchorman's. Eric blows him off. So Eli follows him to the station and reminds him he's not a strong enough student to be missing so much school in favor of the internship. I love how Eli is pursuing Eric. And he's like, oh shoot, I blanked on Eli's last name again. But anyway. Williams, there it is. Mr. Williams, you got all these other students. Yeah, but I'm missing one. You. And he's driving this point home to Eric that I'm missing you. You're important.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here for you because you need to be in my class. This is good. This is important, but it's not as important as why you're here. And of course, we failed to mention Cal's going on vacation. And so they've got a replacement guy coming in, and he's MIA. No one knows where he is. And
I do love that Eric tries to say, Oh, Mr. Williams, you overshot the school by 6 miles. So did you.
Yep. Yeah, I like that. They got a good little repartee going. Um, some nice little visual gags here. Eli gloating with Pat as they're struggling to try and find someone to cover weather. Can't get Arnie to do it, or Artie to do it, because he's half clown. Even though you could frame him well enough that you could.
You could.
And really, is he going to do the clown stuff that close to the broadcast that he couldn't just take the pants off? But oh well. It's still a fun visual gag. And Eli just kind of looking at his watch right there by Pat. But Eric's going to get a chance to go on the weather. Go on TV and do the weather. It's a last minute fill in.
Yeah.
You stand here, you hit your mark, you grab your clicker, you smile, here you go. And as long as you're not actually as long as everything's there for you, if you're just presenting, it's easy to do. If it's all there for you, yes. Now, an actual meteorologist going to do a lot more than that. But if someone's just presenting the information, yes, Eric can stand in very well to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just a fun note. Go ahead.
I think I agree.
Oh, okay. Our stage manager is Matt Kirkwood. You might recognize him. This is the third of 7 times he'll show up. You were going to see him on the Eskimo and Eric Hollywood coming up, among others. He's also going to be one of our chubbies. We last saw him on camera as a photographer for Model Family.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. This is going to be one of our chubbies.
Nice.
But yeah, Eric's going to go on. He's going to do fine. But I'm curious, while he's there, we've kind of figured in our heads that Pat's kind of the guy that's, if not running the internship, at least well enough connected to it. Why doesn't Eli talk to Pat about this while he's there?
You think he would, but on the same token, it's TV.
Yeah, because it's Eli's journalism class. And yes, it's episode's got an episode 101 or 095. But it's Eli's journalism class. It's Pat, the station manager. They have a previous relationship. It's a student who's in danger of not graduating because he's spending more time at the internship than he is at school. I mean, all the pieces are right there. Why do we not have the teacher talking to the guy in charge of the internship? Just a curious thought to put out there.
I honestly, Brett, it's just so that we can get to the stuff later on. You know the answer to that. Is that nice agubwa?
It is. It is. Yep. But we find out Eric gets to do the weather at 5 o'clock and at 10 o'clock.
Which is a nice big, that's a nice long chunk of time.
Yeah. And he goes home to the kitchen. We've got Alan, Amy, Mr. Feeney all around the table. Mr. Feeney's been filling them in. And Eric's going to get a chance to make up all the missed work that he's had with a 2,000-word essay on Reconstructionism.
Yep.
During the Civil War.
Great. What do I have to do?
2,000-word essay on Reconstructionism after the Civil War.
Fine. Done. When do you need it?
On my desk by 3 o'clock Friday.
Ooh, not my 5-day forecast. I'm on call all week.
Well, put it in your forecast, pal. You're doing that essay.
Oh, Dad, I can't possibly do both. And you can't be asking me to give up the station. I mean, I finally found something I'm good at.
This isn't a discussion.
Eric, think about this.
I have. And I'm going back to the station. I mean, that is where I belong. I don't belong in the back of some classroom pretending to listen. No offense, Mr. Feeney.
Eric, you see, that is your problem. You don't listen.
Dad, look, I'm going to be 18 tomorrow. In, like, less than an hour. I think I can make my own decisions.
Eric, I urge you to reconsider.
There's nothing more to think about.
Eric, are you or are you not going to go to school tomorrow?
I'm not going.
Yeah, this is the part of the episode where Eric is really making really poor choices.
Yep. I mean, he's been handed a chance, and Eric's not thinking through, okay, I don't go to school, I drop out of school. What happens when the internship finds out my school internship is me not going to school? What happens there? I mean, it's great that he found something that he's so passionate about and he's so good at, but he's not thinking far enough ahead.
No.
Yeah. But we're going to come down at breakfast the next morning. Morgan can't believe she's related to a dropout, and she's going to be the first Matthews to graduate from college because she doesn't have much hope for Corey graduating.
Yeah, a lot of talking down to Corey, even though he is going to go to school and be just fine.
Yeah. Did you realize this is an episode? There's 3 episodes throughout the whole run where Corey and Sean don't have a scene together, and this is one of them.
Interesting.
Well, Corey wishes Eric a happy birthday, and leaves. Eric slept like a baby, and Alec kind of under his breath mutters, "Yeah, because you are one." And we get another clip here.
I know that last night was like a dream come true to you.
Look, Mom, I know where this is going, and I know what I'm doing. I'm going back to the station.
And I'm going to yell.
Alan, it is not going to help.
No, I'm not going to remain quiet while my son makes the biggest mistake of his life. Now, you may be some big shot weatherman down at Channel whatever it is, but here, you're still my son living in my house.
Yeah, but I'm 18 today.
Fine, you want to play adult? Then let's play. You want to continue sleeping in that room of yours upstairs? You pay rent. Car insurance, you pay that too. Groceries. Are you starting to get the idea?
Yeah, I get it. I get that you two don't realize how important this job is to me. And you know something? If paying rent is my birthday present, well then happy birthday to me. Here, you want your rent? Here is your rent. Well, breakfast anyway.
Eric,
What?
happy birthday.
Thanks, Mom.
And what I don't clip there is Alan refusing to even say happy birthday to Eric and walking out of the room. And it's at this point in the episode. I've always loved the episode, but it's at this point where, as a dad, that it really starts to hit home, because just knowing my temperament, I can see myself slipping into that mode that Alan slips into, and just walking away knowing how hurt Alan is and how upset Alan is. I can see myself doing that, even though I would want to do better in that moment. What about you, Tyler? How would you do?
It's such a hard moment because on one hand, you have to give credit to your child for standing up for themselves and what they believe in. However, even though when someone's 18, they're still a kid. You know, there's just no way else around it. Like, Eric is not magically more mature on the day he turns 18 than he was the day prior at 17. So,
agreed.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden it's after 9 p.m. and Sean and Dana are waiting for John and Susan's date to be over.
Yeah.
I'm thinking this scene was supposed to happen in Act 1, but it was getting too long.
Probably.
Yeah. It's kind of funny little joke there. They're trying to figure out what the number for the Italian restaurant they're at is, and there's more than one.
Yeah.
And it's at this point they get home, the interrogation of John. I'm looking for lip prints. Your mom's seducing my buddy.
Yeah, they
It's
get real
just
personal
so
with each other very quickly.
they do. It's so over the top. I laugh every time. And they, guys, we sit down. We wanna have a talk. Oh no, we're
We're
sisters.
sisters.
But they decide that it's gonna be too awkward if they keep dating for Dana and Sean, so they're not going to. And that upsets Dana that her mom's not good enough for Mr. Turner. And
Yeah, even
she
though she's
runs out.
just complaining about him.
It's just a messy situation all around.
Yeah.
So we'll leave that. Eric's doing the weathercast at the station. Another fill-in day for him. We get to the end of it, and it's a happy birthday for him. Before that, he gets to wish Mr. Feeney a happy 100th birthday because Mr. Feeney's going to keep the school open with 32 inches of snow coming. But the whole news station wishes Eric a happy birthday. But afterwards, the broadcast is over. Pat informs Eric that he's got a real weatherman coming down from Boston. That he couldn't really give Eric the job because he's just a kid, and he didn't just expect him to hand him the job full time, really, But and so we'll pick up another clip here.
I love being an intern here, so I'll see you tomorrow, bright and early.
Hey, now after being on the air, you really think you can go back to being a gopher?
I gotta do something. I mean, I'm not in school anymore.
What do you mean?
Well, I kind of dropped out, to give you guys 100%.
Oh, Eric, we got a problem here. You do know the internship's only open to students.
No, Pat, don't do this to me. I mean, you can't take this away from me. This is all I have. I got no place else to go. This whole thing, it's not fair.
Look, Eric, I tell you what. After college, you give me a call. I'll be happy to give you a job. You're a good man. Parents should be real proud.
Eric discovers just what we were talking about, that without school, there is no internship for him.
Yep. Well, and it also feels like Eric was hoping that this little temporary gig was going to keep going probably till Cal was back from vacation, and I don't know, maybe he just could be the weatherman from now on, or backup weatherman, or whatever.
Yeah, I'm curious what his long-term dream was. Like, we never get to hear it said out loud. We just kind of have to infer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's lost everything in one day.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and
it's that loss of immediate feeling of support that he had from the school and people chasing him down to get papers and information, and that's gone.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons why anytime a teenager, whether I was in high school or not, would say, I think I'm going to drop out, I go, do not drop out. With regards to how hard it feels right now, it's only going to get harder if you drop out.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. Stop licking me.
But even the cake is not real, though. So he doesn't even get a real cake. It's a prop cake.
But that's TV.
Yeah.
Things aren't what they appear.
Yep. But Alan comes down to visit. Eric doesn't want to fight. No, Alan actually just came down to see the station and see what where he works. And to admit,
a real good olive branch.
It is. It really is. He comes down, he takes his Phillies hat off, or not Phillies, his Eagles hat off. He wants to see where his boy works. It looks so much bigger on TV, and but when Eric turns around to get some coffee, Alan admits there's another reason he came down, and it's to admit that he blew it. And I clipped a big chunk of this because Alan says it better than I could.
After high school, I never went to college. I went right into the Navy.
I know that.
Yeah, well, what you don't know is how angry my dad was.
Angry enough not to wish you a happy birthday?
I deserve that. Well, he took out all his frustrations on me the way I did on you, and things were never the same between me and him after that. Look, I don't have to agree with what you did. I mean, dropping out of school made life a lot harder for me, but that gives me no right to turn my back on you. You're my son. Always.
I know that.
And I don't want to make the same mistake my father did.
Neither do I.
Happy birthday, son.
Happy birthday, Dad.
And I love just how transparent Alan is with Eric there, that his reaction this morning was exactly the same thing that his dad, the way that he reacted to him. And he is attempting to break out of the behaviors that he saw in his dad that he doesn't want to emulate. And so he's working in his life to change. And I just love seeing an example on even 30 years ago on TV of a parent being willing to admit to their kid that they were wrong. And I love seeing that type of transparency.
Yeah. Well, it's Alan tries to not be how he was parented.
Mm-hmm.
You see that all the time. He tries to listen to them. He tries to take their thoughts and opinions and have time for them, like his dad sometimes wouldn't do for him. And, you know, as much as I joke about how I'll respond to things the way my dad did, you know, I personally feel like I had a good dad, that if I do act or become like him, you know, it's not actually a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I've learned, even with my little guy, apologizing for the times that you're wrong is huge for their development. You know, especially for raising young men, if they don't know that they're supposed to apologize when they mess up, and they're just supposed to hunker down and say, well, I'm right and that's the way it's going to be, you know, that's no way for them to grow up and learn. And eventually they're going to hit a wall, and it's either they hit me as the wall or life.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, Eric's going to return to school and give Mr. Feeney his 20,000 word essay.
Okay, that is ridiculous.
20,000 words. That's commitment.
Yeah.
I love the little visual gag too. Well, 2,000. Wow. Well, this'll do for it. And rips off a handful of pages. But Mr. Feeney's not playing. Do you think it's that simple? Just come back like that, all's forgiven? But Eric's got to basically get down on his hands and knees here too. Like, I just got my butt kicked in the real world. Well, you lost a job, go find another one. Without a high school diploma, I don't know if you realize this, but it's hard to do that, Mr. Feeney. I need this. I need someone to cut me some slack. Basically, he's admitting to Mr. Feeney exactly what Mr. Feeney needs to hear to show him that Eric has learned his lesson.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the little moment at the end here where when Mr. Feeney has told him, okay, you can come back. And he says, don't hug me. But Eric sits at the front of the room then.
Yeah. But it's also that part of like, he needed to hear from his dad, I'm sorry for the way I responded, but he needed to apologize for his actions.
Mm-hmm.
Because he hurt his dad and his mom by the way he responded. But he did also hurt Feeney. Like,
mm-hmm.
it wasn't that long ago that Feeney gave a recommendation for Eric. And now, after spending the whole year saying, I want to go to college, I want to go to college. Well, you're not going to get to college if you drop out of school.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't want to say this and be offensive, but it's not like Eric doesn't have the ability to turn things around and become a weatherman someday. Like, that is not out of the realm of possibility.
No.
And it does bother me that it's like, oh yeah, for a little bit that was his dream, but who cares about that dream? Let's just make him a random politician.
Yeah. But that's years down the road for this podcast to worry about.
Or is he in the CIA, Brett? Because there they take care of you. Or they kill you. So yes, Eric sits down to actually learn something.
Yes, sits down in the front, focuses, pays attention. And then in the tag, Sean and Dana are on a date at Chubby's. Her mom and John have both moved on. John's meeting a date at Chubby's. Turns out he's hitting on Dana's aunt. Sean says they're going to be cousins. They both look at each other and they do the sitcom scream as we get the closing shot of Chubby's exterior. And that is our episode.
Yeah, and that's it for Dana. For now.
For now. So, Tyler, are you ready for the deep dives?
People. Am I the only one who read the summer reading list?
The stuff about labor laws is being difficult. From what I remember as my time, like, there was a short amount of time for like 16 to 17-year-olds could work. Like, during the school year, they could not go over, I want to say it was like 16 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But like when it came to anyone that was over 18, sky's the limit. They could work as much as they wanted to. It was mostly just those that were under that 18 threshold had limitations. I think if they were 14, it was even less too, but I can't fully remember. It was supposed to be like you could only really work like 2 hours a day, maybe 3 at most, or like on a weekend working like an 8-hour shift essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So that those same rules should apply to this, even if it's unpaid internship. Like, someone who's a high schooler should not be at the beck and call of a corporation like that. But talking about people turning 18, Brett. So here's some things that someone needs to think about and worry about whenever they turn 18. Well, for starters, people that turn 18 can properly own property without anyone else having assistance. They can vote in elections. They can serve on jury. They can get married, get a tattoo, gamble, or enter a binding contract, all without the oversight or consent of their parents or guardian. I will say that you have to do selective service. Mostly if you're a boy. I think most of the states are still just boys. But essentially what that means is if there ever needs to be a draft, then you are registered for said draft. Hopefully that'll never happen, but apparently there's about a fine of about $250 for anyone that does not actually fill out the paperwork for it. If your child is 18, some things for you, Brett, not that long from now. So things that are recommended for money wise would be opening up a bank account, applying for a credit card, or a report or credit report, financial literacy 101, update their insurance, watch out for account changes, obtain a HIPAA release, sign a healthcare proxy and power of attorney, sign a FREPA waiver, the Family Educational Rights Act, Privacy Act, okay, and then creating a will. So these are all things that would be helpful financially for your child to be taken care
Yep.
of. Do you want to know what the weather was like in February
I would
of
love to know what the weather was like in
1996?
February. Yes.
Well, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in February 1996 that actually snowed. One of those days was February 3rd. The high was 21 and the low was 14. February 16th, apparently, the high was 30 and the low was 22. So, not many days of like real snow, but those are like the few days that had like hardcore snow. Apparently, the first weatherman was a guy named John Jeffries. He apparently became weatherman in 1744. He was a Boston physician and one of America's first weather observers, and began taking daily weather observations in in Boston. Um, he also took the first balloon uh, weather observation over London in 1784 and carried a thermometer, a barometer, and a hydrometer to the height of 19,000 feet. All right, so a meteorologist, Brett. It is possible to become an intern for a meteorologist. So one of the criteria for getting an internship like that is that you must have a bachelor's degree in meteorology or a atmospheric science, or to be in the process of completing the degree or have an excellent grade point average. You must determine if you want to report the weather on TV or work on research by choosing the internship. Interesting. So basically, you gotta have a degree or be on your way to get the degree to get an internship, like what Eric was doing. All right, so last thing, Brett, is dropping out of school. So these are 11 facts about high school dropout rates. So each year, over 1.2 million students drop out of high school in the United States alone. About 25% of freshmen fail to graduate from high school on time. The U.S., which had the highest graduation rate in any developing country, now ranks 22nd out of 27 developed countries. The dropout rate has fallen 3% from 1990s to the 2010s from 12 to 7.4. The percentage of graduating Latino students has significantly increased. In 2010, it was 71.4 received their diplomas versus 61.4% in 2006. However, Asian American and white students are still far more likely to graduate than Latino and African American students. A high school dropout will earn less or will earn 20 or 200,000 less than the high school graduate over his lifetime and almost $1 million less than a college graduate. 2010, 38 states had a higher graduation rate. Vermont had the highest at 91.4% graduating, and Nevada had the lowest at 57.8 of graduating students. Almost 2,000 high schools across the U.S. graduate less than 60% of their students. These dropout factors account for 50% of students who leave school every year. Okay. 1 out of 6 students attempt to drop out, attend a dropout factory. 1 out of 3 minor students attend a dropout factory compared to 8% of white students. In the U.S., high school dropouts commit about 75% of crimes. So, in layman's terms, if you're a parent, don't let your kid drop out. And if you are a youngster out there, don't drop out of school.
Stay in school, good-looking people.
Yeah.
Well,
I was like, listen, I'm off the bandwagon of go to college. If you want to do that, go for it. But you got to graduate high school.
well, with that said, good-looking people, let's talk about what we learned.
You know anything about the Odyssey? Huh? Did I say you could talk?
I didn't teach you that.
My friend Mr. Matthews will lead the discussion.
Do I have to draw you a picture?
What did we learn, Tyler?
There needs to be room for grace. And, there's no way around it. Eric hurt Feeney. Eric hurt his parents. And both of them have to give him grace. And, in school, I think a lot of kids feel like they're constantly messing up and constantly not doing the right thing. And, eventually they'll figure it out and they'll be able to do real world and, they'll be okay. And unfortunately, I personally feel like I mess up way more in real life than I ever did in school. But also that's a time period to learn more about who you are. And I think, if there's people around you that's willing to give grace and you're willing to give grace, the world can be a better place.
Well said. I learned that, I already knew life is not fair, but be there for your kids, especially when they're making choices that are going to bite them in the butt. They need to learn from their mistakes, but they need you to walk alongside them as they deal with the consequences, not to take the consequences from them, but to help them learn how to handle them.
Yeah. I also learned I'm exhausted.
Well, we're almost done.
Yeah, I could just
just two more things to go and we're done.
You're sucking up to me.
As hard as I can.
Tyler,
Yes.
What would you grade Stormy Weather?
Oh, this is an A+.
Mhm.
We talked before. I think this was in our top 10 episodes, but yeah, this is
Yeah, it was.
incredible. It's A+. And also, the through lines from last episode really build onto having more in this episode. So
Yep.
A+ all around. And even Corey, as little as he's in, you're still learning about him.
It's the end of the world.
Although I realized as I was watching it right before we recorded, Brett, during the time in which Henry was like, I don't want you to record tonight. He had a different hat on. It was a gray hat.
Mhm.
So somewhere along the way, Corey has now lost his blue hat as well.
Yep. I'm giving it an A+ too. Yeah, it was in my top 10s. It's any of the issues that we have with it, I can overlook because the story is exactly what needs to be told, and Eric learns the exact lessons he needs to learn. He gets away from his goals of wanting to go to college, and I mean, he learns them in a harsh way. He really does. And we get to see him come back to Mr. Feeney, especially apologizing the way that he needs to.
Yeah.
So,
to
A+
quote
for me.
Lois from Malcolm in the Middle, you don't get the easy road. You got to work hard. I'm sorry. That's what life has decided. You have to work hard. You have to do all the things, and eventually you'll get where you want to go, but you have to do it the long way.
Yep.
So, and if Eric really wants to be a weatherman, he's got to take the long way.
Yep. Well, I owe you a dad joke.
There you do.
And then we can let you go to sleep.
That'd be nice.
So, I can't believe someone came into my house last night and they stole all my fruit. I'm just peachless.
Very nice.
And with that, we are heading out, good-looking people. You can reach us on our social profiles at dadsmeetworld on Twitter/X, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. You can send us an email at dadsmeetworld@gmail.com. We still got our t-shirt contest going on.
Yep, it's looking like you and I, Brett, are going to be giving
like
each
we're
other
gonna be
t-shirt.
giving each other t-shirts for Christmas.
I'm thinking one more episode, Brett, and then
I'm thinking so too. I'm going to check when we're done recording, but I'm thinking we're going to be getting each other t-shirts if the good-looking people aren't going to be sending us emails.
Sounds good to me.
And you know what, good-looking people, we love you. We do.
So
leave us some likes and loves and some 5-star reviews if you think we're worth it. And let
Let's
other
share
people
this holiday season.
Let's bring some good-looking people into our crowd here.
Yeah.
Tell them Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year and all the other holidays.
Indeed. Well, Tyler, until next time, I'll see you good looking.
You're good looking.
How can I learn so much every week and still be so stupid?
Dads Meet World is a production of Headfirst Studios. Headfirst Studios, tell your story. All right, we'll just pretend the deep dive bumper played then because it's not playing. There must be an issue with the video.
People.
Am I the only one that paid attention to did the summer reading list?
Not only that, stop chewing on that. Stop. Sorry, puppy dog's right beside me. Stop licking me. Anywho,